He also participated, and we're supposed to go, wow, that's amazing. You guys, happy Thursday. Last show until I take a much needed break. And it's going to be a good one. As always, as we continue this investigation, we are definitively getting closer. So, what do we recall? Well, we were told that Charlie just had healthy bones, that it was a miracle that the gun did not take his neck out and that his spine somehow stopped it. I can now officially debunk that Marvel storyline and therefore refocus our investigation on what actually happened on 9/10 because I have new information and I'm presenting it to the public today. Plus, later on in the show, Josh Hammer has emerged. You know, he's the one that thinks that all white men, all white European men are anti-Semitic. Well, he is now releasing text messages between him and Charlie that literally prove absolutely nothing other than that Josh Hammer is a dummy and didn't realize that the text messages make his storyline somehow even less credulous. Good news is that he at least didn't plug his book. Welcome back to Candace. All right, you guys, where to begin? Obviously, we have a lot to unpack before I go on vacation. I'm looking forward to reading. I'm also looking forward to processing a lot of the information that is coming to me and researching more. The place that we should start on today's show is with, I first and foremost have to tell you right at the top, I can't tell you exactly who the information came from or which parties were involved in giving me this information because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I can say that I have positively verified something about the injury that Charlie sustained to his neck that I think is going to go a very long way in terms of helping those of us who have been sleuthing, those of us who want answers, those of us who are dedicating our time to this because what we are being told by the authorities beggars belief. As John and Arena Mappin said, it just simply beggars belief. We also want to make sure that we are presenting evidence and debunking one another where we can so that all of us can collectively zero in and build upon whatever facts we have in this decentralized investigation. This is about the injury, okay? So Andrew Kovats was, I can tell you, telling the truth in part when he wrote that very long tweet in which he tried to explain why there was no exit wound. Do you recall this? Long story short, he said, I'm going to read it. I want to address some of the things that the lack of an exit wound, about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter, and I apologize if this is somewhat graphic, but in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle, and I want people to know. I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. He said the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc., but it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. I mentioned to his doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie on the other side of the tent, and he replied, it was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have just gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. In the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable, miraculous. Now, keep that up for just a second because it's really around here. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel that we just went, something's not right. Something not right. A lot of stuff's not right. I just don't know why a surgeon would be saying something that actually only the medical examiner, somebody that specializes in forensics, could really contribute. Yes, a surgeon can tell you, or actually any person with common sense can tell you that your bone density is better when you're younger. But this seemed a little bit too performative. Now, I can tell you the part that he is telling the truth about is that Charlie's neck indeed did stop the bullet without question. Okay. And this is going to dispel a lot of theories that are out there. And I'm telling you this 100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front, and the bullet did not exit. And at least a fragment of the bullet was recovered from his neck. And I'm going to tell you exactly where it was recovered from. I have fact-checked this information from multiple sources now. I've actually been sitting on this for a little bit over a week. Right around here. So think about almost in line with your shoulder blade right in the center. Now, why is that helpful? Because it gives us a bullet trajectory, okay? We went in here where you saw that, and it was stopped, and a fragment was pulled from, think right, if you're just touching your spine in line with your shoulder blade. That leads us, obviously, to the part that he's maybe not being forthcoming about. They did not recover a bullet from a 30-06. They didn't recover a bullet from a 30-06. Just didn't happen, okay? They had found a 30-06 bullet. Charlie's death certificate certainly would have reflected that. In suicide situations, as just one example, medical examiners, feel free to chime in. I've spoken to quite a few. But when the gun and the bullet are known, they are reflected onto the death certificate, okay? There is not one reflected onto Charlie Kirk's death certificate because they did not recover a bullet from a 30-06. Hunters and military men rejoice. It turns out that common sense still rules the roost, okay? You guys were right. You were absolutely right. And this is why I hate politics, because it requires us to submit to the idea that we were all somehow born yesterday, that life really can just be a Marvel comic with people that are, I guess, a DC comic where there are men of steel that are able, because they're young, to stop 3,000 pounds of energy that is coming at them. That didn't happen. So where does that leave us, guys? Well, the part that is now extraordinarily suspicious is that Andrew is claiming that he had a conversation with the surgeon who offered up the idea that it really was just your modern Christian miracle, that Charlie was just young and his bones had a lot of density, which made him stronger somehow than a Cape buffalo, enough push-ups and asparagus, and you too can stop 3,000 pounds of energy coming at you. What are we to make of that? What are we to make of the fact that Charlie did not do that, actually? It means that he was shot with a completely different kind of gun, obviously, okay? The kind where this would make sense, that it didn't cut through him. The kind where it would make sense that outside of an artery effectively exploding from the front, there was, his neck didn't explode, which that particular weapon that they were trying to tell us Charlie was killed with would have gone through about 7 necks, okay? You will recall that throughout all of this, or during this mayhem rather, there were people who were insisting, by the way, that were on the ground, the witnesses that were insisting that they heard multiple shots. That's another element of this. But those individuals were not the ones that were awarded with mainstream media interviews. In fact, one guy, and this kind of went viral at the time, even got pushed, physically pushed, and was not given the ability to speak at all. They shut him up. It looked, if we were just examining the situation, it certainly looked like Turning Point employees or staff or students thugged him so that he wouldn't say what he thought happened. Let's take a listen to that clip that has gone viral.
I was standing from probably the 3rd row in the bottom. I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me! Get off me!
Emotions are running high right now.
The body scanner reveals the brutal truth about your body that your regular.
Very strange. The one thing that I don't understand, I do believe that this is all a setup. I think that everybody in there is actors, everybody that's even,
Regular scale will never tell you.
Pass this commercial. This guy.
I heard the shot ring out.
He's an actor.
I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me! Get off me!
Emotions are running high right now.
Certainly emotions were running high. He was just trying.
All actors. Everybody there is an actor. It's so fucking strange. The one thing that I don't get, to Candace's point, Dawn, good morning. The one thing that I don't get, am I even muted? Let me see here. The one thing that I don't get, so let's go with the theory that they set this up. Okay. This was a pre-planned assassination by the government, okay? Or it was a pre-planned assassination by Israel, or it was a pre-planned assassination by some secret mafia organization. Any of those, okay? Anything, even if it was Tyler Robinson, the trans, how are they so stupid to think that they could tell us it's a 30-06 bullet and that we're not going to figure out that it wasn't because there's no splatter behind him. That's just like if you were going to, you know, try to pull off a fucking lie, you know, a conspiracy, that would be the first thing that they would think of. If we all sat around and said, okay, look, we need to fool the public. We're going to do an assassination and, you know, boom, boom, boom. You're going to somebody's going to be like, well, if we say it's a 30-06, we got to make sure there's blood splatter on the back and the bullet would go right through him. So somebody would think of that. It's like, it's just a complete oversight. So it's almost like they want us to figure this shit out. It's like it's a trial run. You know, they're using this as like, okay, what works, what doesn't work. Okay. And they're also probably, you know, whoever they are, like the CIA, the Department of Defense, some secret organization that's fucking with us, the whole entire fucking other half of the world. I have no idea. It's like they're purposely putting on a clown show because they're really going to fool us with something. And they're just putting in our heads that they could never pull off something so sophisticated because we're looking at their clown show right now. I don't know. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. But there's obviously a whole bunch of things that are wrong with this thing. And I know a lot of people probably don't care about it, but I, for one, am just like, I still, and things just continue to get weirder and weirder and weirder around here. So I'm just going to play a little bit more of this.
Trying to speak and to say what he saw. And interestingly, though, if you think through what he said there, he said, I was in the third row, right? And a shot rang out and I looked to my left and I looked to my right. Now, we're not specific on where exactly he was standing, but if a shot, a high-powered rifle came from 250 yards behind you, you'd probably look back first, right? Like common sense, if you heard the sound coming from behind you, you would look back, probably even before your brain came online. Your instinct would be to duck and to make sure that you're not going to get hit by something that's coming from behind you. Now, to clarify immediately here and to again debunk some other internet conspiracy theories, that is not Andrew Colvett in that video. A lot of people were like, is this Andrew Colvett from Turning Point USA hiding under a hat? It is not true. I spoke to Andrew on this actual day. He definitively flew in to Utah after the shooting took place. He's not therefore on the ground. But the person that is in that video, as soon as I just put up a picture and I said, I'd like to identify this person, his friend first left a nasty comment, like, why are you trying to look out for this guy? He did the right thing. How dare we ask questions? Like, how dare we try to get testimony from anybody else that day? Kind of then messages me privately because I reached out and I'm like, I'm just trying to confirm the story. And I reached out and he says to me, well, and I'm paraphrasing here, he doesn't want to speak to you. He doesn't want to speak to media because he's been instructed not to speak to media because he's gotten the Turning Point chapter into trouble before for speaking out in the media. And he just doesn't want to do that. And I said, that seems very strange to me. What are you saying to me? You have a TPUSA person who can't speak out about things. There were tons of people that were talking about their testimonies. It's very odd. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, you're telling me that Turning Point USA, sent around a text and said, nobody speak to the media. That was his excuse, by the way, for why he shut that guy up. People were saying, oh, they're not allowed to speak to the media. So they were just doing what they were told. Well, then it's kind of interesting. You should know that I then determined that the person doing the shoving is first and foremost not a Turning Point USA employee. He is beyond that, not a student at UVU. He is not a Turning Point USA student, therefore, either. He was actually brought in as a volunteer, which I found to be quite strange. Like, look, I've done a lot of campus stops, and typically it's the chapter of that school that does everything. It's the chapter that handles everything. Now, bigger events, they certainly work with other organizations, and it's possible, I guess, it registered to me as odd that a volunteer would have the courage to shut down a kid that's speaking in that way, in that aggressive manner. I would imagine Turning Point would tell their volunteers not to get physical with students on campus. But what do I know? I just have common sense. Now, How do I know that he is not a Turning Point USA employee and he is not a UVU or Turning Point USA student? Well, because despite him stopping a college kid from speaking about what he heard, that young man, whose name is Cooper, and I'm very comfortable telling you this because, well, he went on Fox News that very night to provide eyewitness testimony to exactly what he heard and what he saw, because apparently he was the person that was holding the mic when the shot rang out. Take a listen to what he told Jesse Waters on the night of.
Cooper Brown was an event volunteer who was just feet away from Charlie when he got shot. Cooper, what happened?
Yeah, so this requires a little bit of background knowledge, but so I work for an organization called Leadership Institute, and what we do is we work hand in hand with all the different conservative coalition groups on college campuses. So the Young Americans for Liberty, the Students for Life, and the Turning Point USAs. And so at Utah Valley, we had been really, really excited to be able to host Charlie Kirk this semester. And we had spent weeks and weeks and weeks getting volunteers, advertising for this event, and just so excited to be able to host Charlie Kirk at this university. And then unfortunately it had to end in absolute tragedy.
So I'm trying to get in touch with this individual once I realized that not only did he speak the night of, he also spoke on Fox News the very next day, which would mean what? Did Turning Point USA, I don't know the answer to this, I'm asking genuinely, did they say speak to this person who's not actually a TPUSA student, but he was there? I don't know how this works. But the next day, sure enough, he appeared on Fox News again. And I'm not sure if we had that clip, Skylar, but if we do, let's roll it.
That day we had 30 or so student volunteers that were designated roles that were going to be helping pass out Turning Point USA merchandise and getting people signed up for the event. And my responsibility was, when the event actually started, to help manage just the microphone. So something simple as just raising it and lowering it, making sure students were able to speak into it clearly. And I thought this was a fantastic opportunity to be up really, really close, to be able to witness all the amazing dialogue that was going to be happening on campus.
The U.S. just passed landmark legislation supporting.
Couple of things about Cooper Brown that to me is a bit of a mystery at this moment. First and foremost, you provide witness testimony. You start doing the rounds on Fox News. You are fair game, okay? I'm going to start asking questions because I need to know everything. Everything's got to fit neatly into my timeline. So in trying to reach out to him and in publicly posting, hey, I'm trying to identify this individual, I received a ton of emails. One email said, hey, I'm actually his cousin, and here is his number. Now, I noticed that that cousin happens to live in Phoenix, Arizona. So I went and just checked some profiles on social media. I found some Browns, but they were all living in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, maybe this person's from Phoenix, Arizona. Well, actually, when I went through what he has as his resume on this website where he says that he works with this institute, I couldn't fact check any of the things. Went to school, a very small college in New Hampshire. I'm from the Northeast. If you're going to school in New Hampshire, especially not the University of New Hampshire, you can go ahead and bet that you're going to be a local. So I'm looking for a kid that's from New Hampshire to go to this tiny school. I found someone from that name with his name, but it was actually a girl that had that name and graduated in the year that he says that he graduated in. He doesn't look to me like he just graduated college, but according to his resume, he did. And the number that she gives me, which is the first thing that registers to me as odd, is it's a Utah. It's a Phoenix-based number. So I'm going, who is this person, and why is it linking that number to somebody else who is 32 years old and has that same last name? I don't know. I intend to get those answers, but there's something here that strikes me as a little bit odd, especially given the fact that as a volunteer, as he expresses there, they decided to allow him to hold the microphone. That's supposed to be like kind of an honor at Utah events. Turning Point USA kids work really hard to put these events on. They decide who's going to hold the microphone.
Thank God for Candace, because people like me, we see all these little fucking holes in their stories, and but there's nothing we can do, like I don't have this capability that she does. I mean, she fucking goes above and beyond. She's like, you don't want to lie to Candace. I mean, she's coming with all the fucking receipts, man. She's destroying these people. Now, what really happened to Charlie Kirk, I don't think we're ever going to find out. I mean, I don't even really think it fucking matters at this point. But what does matter is that there's a whole bunch of people involved in this, including the government. I mean, in fact, it is the government that did it, because that's what Charlie was. He was like a up and coming political figure. He was a very powerful voice, apparently. So he was silenced by his political opponents. And what's really weird is you don't, like, was he a Republican? Was he a Democrat? You don't see either side in outrage. They're more worried about the government shutdown and stuff like that. It's very, 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 very weird. Tommy, good morning. Good to see you. Excuse me. I decided not to go out to my market today. There's 2 more markets left, but I am I'm whooped from yesterday. I got my ass kicked last night. And so I need to make more stuff today. It's dark and wet and cold. 7 a.m. here. I would have to be setting up right now. And it's just now getting light out, and I can't do it. So my back hurts. So I'm just gonna go live for a couple hours, and then I'm gonna get to work, because I have a big event tomorrow that I got to prepare for. So hope you're doing good. But yeah, Candace, man, she's doing the Lord's work, literally, and she's just, she's validating everything that I know to be true. But there's no way I could possibly know the things that she's doing. I mean, anybody that says something, she's looking you up, man. And she's figuring, and none of it, all of it, is garbage. Everything that they're saying is garbage. The whole fucking thing. The whole fucking thing. The question is, I mean, I don't know what the question is. I'm going to move on. I mean, this was Thursdays. She's got like 8 to 10, segments on this already. And she's taking a week off because she needs a vacation. And I don't blame her, because I know she's on a hit list, her and Tucker and some other people. It's a fucking war right now, guys. Do. Oh, and I ordered a new TENS unit. I couldn't find my TENS unit, and my back was hurting so bad yesterday. I was like, fuck. I was at my first event, because I did 2 events yesterday. So I went on Amazon, and because I haven't had it for like a week, I couldn't find it. So I ordered a new one. It was almost $50, but it came the same day. I got it yesterday afternoon, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. Well, then last night I took it off, and I couldn't find it, and I needed it all night last night. So finally I found it this morning. I go out to my truck, and I just blindly kind of reach my hand under the seat, pull it out, and I realize it's the old one that I've been, and it's half broke. Only one side works. So, knowing me, probably, I'm not saying I'm gonna do this, but there's a chance that I may put the old one back in the new case and take it back to Kohl's for the Amazon refund and get my $50 back. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that. I'm just saying that might be how I recover part of my loss from not going to the market today. Oh but I love these TENS units. They feel so good on your back. Sweet Tea, how are you doing? Good morning, Osada. Catching up from the beginning. Have a great day. Not much to catch up on, Sweet Tea. We watched a little bit of Candace Owens. I think that's really why I've been just in kind of a shitty mood by default lately, is because of this whole thing with Charlie Kirk, and I don't even know who he is. I'm not even, I think Turning Point USA is a complete scam. It was like, even the way it was set up, its tax structure, everything is a fraud. So I could care less about Charlie Kirk, or any of his views, or any of TP, none of it. I don't care about that. What I care about is the fact that they killed him and they're lying about it and covering it up. That's what really bothers me. And they did such a shitty job of it. It just begs the question, did they do that on purpose? Did they purposely fuck this up so bad that people like me are just like, our brains are just mush now, because we can't wrap our head around it. And then now here comes the alien invasion next. And we won't have the bandwidth to deal with it. Which, by the way, that 3V Atlas, or I think they call it like 3I Atlas. It's like a big, I think it's like 300 billion tons of rock headed our way by, I think, the middle of November. It's going to pass by us. And you can see it with like a telescope. And then it's going to do the fucking Looney Tune thing around the sun and wrap back around and then slingshot back towards us. And then directly hit us and blow the whole planet up. I think. I mean, I don't know. I might have got that last part wrong. But that it is for sure going to come by. And it's going to wrap around the sun and it's going to come back by. So hopefully it doesn't hit us. Dun, 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 dun. Speaking of mush, my brain, I've had enough of the Charlie Kirk and the Erica Kirk. So I'm going to move on from this. Where's my profile, my bookmarks? Let us find something else to bitch about. These motherfucking sand monkey bitches can go back to the fucking sandbox that they came from. Okay? Quit with your fucking Arab flags and your turbans and your hummus and your camels and your fucking body odor. Get the fuck out of our country. And now they're building an Air Force base in Idaho. Qatar is. Kumatar. I don't know how to say it. We're going to have a civil war in this country, and we're not going to be the ones fighting the civil war. It's going to be the Arabs against the Israelis. And they're going to call it a fucking civil war because we have this many of these motherfuckers in our country. Anti-American. They could care less. They will actually like rape and pillage our women and children. Just nothing but pedophiles. They abuse women. They have those weird laws where, you can get beheaded and shit. Anti-Christian, just horrible human beings allowed to march down the streets of America. And that's only half the problem, because the other half of the problem is those warmongering, murdering, pedophile, Epstein Island, Benjamin Netanyahu, just crybaby, screaming, thick eyebrow puppets, Muppets. I can't fucking stand. What the fuck happened to America? What happened to America? And I don't give a fuck. You can call me racist. I'm going to fucking speak my mind about this shit because I am fucking tired of it. And the only way it's going to stop is if we fucking get mad. We can't be passive about this shit any longer. And we can't go out there and start fucking with baseball bats and beating people up. So the only thing we can do is use our voice. The only thing we can do is fucking talk shit. Because the government, we have to embarrass the politicians because they listen to that. They don't like being embarrassed. It's the only thing that works.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Yeah, and somebody made a good point. So free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. We always fucking hear the same stupid fucking two words, free Palestine. Well, didn't Trump just make a deal, a peace deal? Aren't there, nobody was cheering about that. Well, I don't blame them because Israel's still killing people. I think they killed like 84 people yesterday. They're literally just shooting tanks at children for no reason. So I get it, but why the fuck is this happening here in America? Take these fucking protests to the Middle East. You guys got all our fucking oil money anyways. We give you $5 a gallon every day. Take your costumes and your fucking Arab Muslim flags and your turbans and go home. This is not your home, okay? New York City is not your home. We don't want Arabs as fucking mayors. I don't know if you guys do, but I know I sure the fuck don't. I bookmarked the wrong one on that one. We'll move on. A Hamas flag is clearly visible in the background during New York City's protest prayer called Within Our Lifetime.
Allah. Allah.
All right. Well, here's a little comic relief for us really quick. Here's Don Lemon.
No, it's not a criminal act. Okay. It's a misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Okay, as somebody that actually...
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law, most people will say, okay, then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not, why are they being rounded up and sent out? Especially when he promised to deport the criminals. And now he's not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going...
Misdemeanor is not a crime.
Yeah. So misdemeanor is not
a criminal act. No, if you get charged.
A misdemeanor is not a criminal act. Don Lemon, come on, dude. Are you really that stupid?
For the misdemeanor, that's not a criminal act.
Why charge at all then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No,
it's just
we have different levels of. I shouldn't say crime, but it's not. It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
So it's breaking the law.
No, you're not breaking the law.
Misdemeanor is not breaking the law.
No.
If you're speeding, drinking, get pulled over, DUI.
That's not a criminal act. Well, no, if you're speeding is a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor.
Right.
So it's still breaking the law.
Okay, well, if you want to qualify that, we're doing semantics. But what I'm saying, but what I'm trying to tell you is everything is not the same. It's all not one thing.
But is it the law?
What is it? The law that what?
Is it a law?
My gosh, he's. I mean, and why do you know what? You know what's crazy is like a guy like that. It's just I don't understand how he even gets the push that he gets. Nobody likes that guy. Patty, hello. Mustang, good morning. Good to see you guys. Let me give you a wrench, Patty. There you go. Good morning to you guys. I just went on a rant about New York City. And this is why. This is what's going to, and the reason why I'm so pissed off about it is because we are going to end up seeing buses getting bombed in the United States with innocent Americans. Okay. We're going to end up seeing grocery stores bombed, false flag operations. These guys are the kings of terrorist attacks and intelligence operations, and it's the Israelis against the Muslims. And I'm so sick of hearing the word anti-Semite and Shri-law, Shrink-a-law, whatever the hell it is. And, this is what it is right here. This is it.
Anti-Semite!
Anti-Semite. 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 No, an anti-Semite. Denounce it. Denounce Sharia law. Denounce Hezbollah. Denounce it. You can't denounce it. You can't denounce it, you fucking rat. Fuck off me, bro. Fuck off me, bro. You scared, bro. Fuck off me, bro. Fuck off me. Back the fuck off. Back the fuck off.
And you know, if you really want to know my honest opinion, I believe that that whole thing right there is staged. Like a lot of things are, like the whole Charlie Kirk, the facade that went on after he was killed. I think this whole thing is just staged. But this is what I mean when I say that we're going to have a civil war in this country, and we're not going to be the ones fighting in it. It's literally going to be a civil war between Muslims and Israelis. Because that's how many of these people are in our country. And that's how angry they are and how warmongering Benjamin Netanyahu is. It's going to be, and it's not the Israeli people. It's an Israeli faction of Jewish Zionist, murderous pedophile, warmongering control freaks that want, to expand their, people like Larry Ellison, and he owns Oracle and CBS and CNN, and now he's being put in charge of TikTok. These are the people that are doing this shit. We don't need this in our country. They could care less about us. They could care less about normal children, in our elementary schools and our junior highs and high schools. They could care less about making sure that all the children are safe in sports. I mean, they already proved that. They're making it dangerous because these same people are the ones that are behind those agendas. It's very deceiving how, a localized, a localized school, that lets a trans, boy play in girls sports, how that, how these guys have anything to do with that. But it's global. I mean, this isn't, look at, ask Don Miku in Australia. Same shit in Australia as it is here in the United States. It's global agendas by these puppet masters. And so, who in our government, Trump, America first, but do you even hear him say anything about all these people that are here with these flags and shit? I mean, I don't know. The freaks have way too much power. Yes, they do. It's very strange. But, so this violent rhetoric, it's just very, very volatile. And this is nothing new between these people. They're never, they call for a ceasefire, and then they just continue, the last couple of days, just continue to literally shoot their tanks at people. And I looked it up. They killed, I mean, you just ask ChatGPT. I asked them, has Israel honored the ceasefire with Palestine, or have they bombed since the ceasefire? It depends on which ceasefire you mean. But in general, Israel has not entirely honored ceasefires. And there have been bombings, military strikes after various ceasefire agreements. And it goes on to the one here. A new ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas came into effect in October 2025. So far, reports suggest a ceasefire is generally holding in Gaza, with Israeli forces withdrawing from many urban areas and with fewer major strikes reported in the immediate term. However, there have been reports that Israeli bombings or strikes continue in adjacent areas. So, and tensions remain high. So the short answer is no, Israeli has not perfectly honored all. Of course they have not, because they're warmongering fucks. And so they're in, it's not like here. I mean, we're not accustomed to that type of violence, of literally like shooting tanks at people. Like when we go to war, it's like, all right, everybody ready? We got all our fucking gear. We're going over there, and, tanks against tanks, planes against ships. This is not what this is anymore. This is like, this is genocide and extermination, and we're next. The white people are next. White and black Americans are next, because, you know, they're using drones to exterminate people now. And you look at what Palestine looks like, and they flatten that place. And I looked up on ChatGPT. Hold on. The most recent summary is that over 67,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since the start of the war in October 2023. So that's 24 months, 67,000 people. So that's, I mean, how many people a month is that? 3,000 people a month? I mean, that's just a rough estimate. So 750 people a week, 100 people a day or more. Like 100 people every day for 2 years. I mean, this is, what do you call that? And it's women and children that they're killing. They're just killing people. So 100, you know, they're killing 100 people a day. I'm just going to ask ChatGPT something. I'm just going to voice something really quick to ChatGPT. If 67,000 people were killed in 24 months, how many people is that being killed per day? $91.7 people per day. So 92 people a day. Almost 100 people a day are being killed. And what are they doing? And, you know, like Bill Clinton's on video a while back saying, well, didn't you kill enough people already? And Bill Clinton goes, well, if it was your family member, or you wouldn't say that, you know, you would want them to be, you know, eliminated or stopped. So, I mean, are they saying that like everybody in Palestine is a terrorist and needs to be killed? I don't understand like how fake October 7th of 2023, how that staged red false flag event can justify the murdering of, and continuing to this day, 67,000 people, women and children, you know, not military people, talking about where they live at, their cities, their homes, their businesses, their stores, their farms, whatever they got. I mean, all gone. How does that work? And yet the world just kind of is desensitized to it because we're sick and tired of hearing about it, I think, since the 80s, my whole life. Is Candace Owens doing okay? I haven't kept up on what's going on with her. Oh, yeah, she's on it. She's taking a week off. Hopefully, you know, she stays safe. But she set those people up so bad, it's not even funny. She made some accusations, and then they attacked her and called her a liar and said she was crazy. And then she just gave them enough rope to hang themselves by. And then boom, she just dropped receipts after receipts after receipts after receipts. And there's people out there that they just look so bad now. Like that Josh Hammer guy. He's such a scumbag. And he was Charlie Kirk's friend, supposed to be his friend. And so there's a lot of people that got caught lying, and now they're trying to backpedal. So she's like, I mean, you can't get any better than her. She's like the best internet sleuth that we've ever had. You know, her and Alex Jones and Tucker Carl. I mean, we need those people. Yeah, we do need her 100%, Patty. Oh boy. All right, let's get back to, I need some coffee. So it's a very dangerous situation, guys. You know, and that is Zoran.
Anti-Semite! 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 You're an anti-Semite! Denounce it! Denounce Sharia law! Denounce Hezbollah! Denounce it! You can't denounce.
So that's the mayor. You know, that's not the mayor, but the guy running for mayor. This is what we're going to get. Imagine when, you know, if that guy became mayor, then it's going to be terrorist attacks going on. I mean, it's not a question of, oh, well, this could, no, it will happen. 100%, 1,000%. Terrorist attacks are going to happen in this country on a scale like we're not prepared for. Fuck, guys. I mean, look what they did in Lebanon with the cell phone pagers. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT something real quick again. What was the details behind the cell phone pagers blowing up in Lebanon? Who was responsible for that, and how many people were killed? So September of 2024, so last year, exploding pagers and devices. On September 17, 2024, handheld pagers used by Hezbollah operatives in Lebanon and parts of Syria exploded almost simultaneously. On the 18th of September, a second wave of explosions hit walkie-talkies and other electronic devices in similar fashion. These devices reportedly had explosive charges embedded and were triggered by coded messages, signals, or commands. The attack was apparently designed to strike communications equipment used by Hezbollah, especially after Hezbollah had switched to pagers to avoid surveillance. Some reports say that the pager showed a message or error prompt, which encouraged the users to press a button to read the message, at which point the device would detonate. So they try to trick you to touch the phone or the device, so you're actually going to get more hurt by it, and you're looking at it. The attack is sometimes referred to as Operation Grim Beeper. Media and security sources have largely blamed Israelis' intelligence services, notably Mossad and possibly military intelligence, for planning and executing the attack. According to reporting by Reuters, sources say Mossad planted small amounts of explosive material inside 5,000 Taiwan-made pagers, model AR-924. That Hezbollah had procured months earlier. The method reportedly involved embedding explosive devices next to the batteries and integrating a remote triggering mechanism. Some retired Mossad agents have described in interviews how the operation had been in the works for many years and stemmed from experiments with weaponized communication devices like walkie-talkies. In the first wave, at least 12 people were reportedly killed, including at least 2 children, and thousands were wounded, often severely. In the second wave, walkie-talkies, at least 30 people were killed and hundreds were injured. Overall, some Lebanese government and health sources estimate 42 total fatalities. Injuries are reported about 3,500 people. Among the wounded and killed are not only Hezbollah fighters, but also civilians, health workers, and others carrying pagers in non-military capacities. That's scary shit. Did that get swept under the rug? I remember it happening, but not then that much info. Yeah, because they're really lying about it. And, you know, when you do stuff like that, the government can just do it to us, you know, because if we believe that it was Israel, you know, I mean, they could say it's aliens. They could say it's Israel. They could say it's North Korea, Iran, Russia, but it could be our own government, you know, and is our government even what we think it is? or is there like a secret mafia with inside the government that's doing this? So $100 million of your unemployment money was stolen by Nigerians, or 3,500 people were injured by cell phone pagers from Israelis, or such and such people's heads were cut off by Al Qaeda. It's always, so that's what I'm afraid is going to happen here, because this is the type of people we're dealing with now, and this is what they do. This is what they do. They bomb buses, they kill women and children, because the job of a terrorist is to terrorize people. And what better way to terrorize people than kill the innocent? Now, this is a pretty new video of the Charlie Kirk thing. And I'm going to I'll play it back at normal speed real quick. And there's no blood or nothing. He's already getting carted away.
Charlie. Charlie. We gotta get out of here. Oh my gosh. Charlie.
So somebody posted that video and they're like, play it in a slower speed, and then just, what do you see? Excuse me. I see all kinds of weird things in these videos. I mean, this is why I think it's all just kabuki theater. And I'm going to play without the sound because it sounds weird when it's slow. Okay. First thing, very first shot is that guy is trying to hide his face right here for whatever reason. Hold on 1 second. I have to clear my throat real quick. Right, to get us to hate certain groups, but we really don't know who is doing what. Exactly, Patty. And when you have like in Ukraine, you literally have drones dropping explosives on people, Oh, it's the Russians doing it to the Ukrainians, or is it just the genocide or is it the mafia, the global mafia doing it to just clear the land for AI? I mean, it's really hard to say at this point. But this video, and I won't get too deep into it because it's crazy town when you start breaking videos down and stuff. But why is that guy hiding his face? Why does this girl have an American flag in the back of her head? Because she's not the only one, and I just think that that's kind of weird. You have people that are all crouched down and literally like playing Twister on top of each other. Yet there's one guy right there holding his phone up. Now that guy's hiding his face again. Got all these people just kind of crouched down. It all looks so surreal. The one thing that I noticed, so do you still have that guy over there holding his phone up? Some more weirdness here. There's another flag right there. I don't know where the fuck that flag's. What is the fuck is that flag doing? Up here on that guy's shoulder. Is that even real? Are we watching a real video? Because you don't notice shit like that at real speed. Okay, it's in his hat right there. So this guy has an American flag tucked in his hat. I guess that's a thing we do now. I've never seen that before, but that's two people in one video. They're carting him away there. But as I was watching this, the thing that I noticed that was the weirdest out of this video, that why I even bookmarked it, because everything I showed so far was not worth me bookmarking. It's just kind of crazy town. Is the 15 to 16 mark right here? It's a video cut, and I'll play it again in slow speed, but then I'll play it again in real time. Did you guys just see that? Watch it again. Okay, so it's showing the first two letters, right? Now watch. Boom. It just cut. And if you watch it down below, if you just watch the people, it does a cut. And I'll play it again, and I'll play it at regular speed. See, you can't tell at regular speed. It's almost like they sped that up. Or do I have it sped up? No, that's regular speed. That's got to be sped up. Anyway, I could obsess over this stupid shit all day long. All I know is they're fucking lying to us. I don't think I would have the fine motor skills to video anything if I was 100%, Patty. We wouldn't have. And some of these, this is the whole thing just looks so surreal. You know, I mean, it just does. So it just really kind of begs the question, how many people really were involved in that? I think like with 9/11 and Sandy Hook and the Boston Marathon bombing and Oklahoma City bombing, we would be absolutely astonished to know how many people were working in tandem with each other. Magooch, good morning. You know, like one thing I always tell people that a lot of people don't realize is how many of those terrorist attacks are all within the same week of each other. April 20th is the date where all of these things happen. Columbine, Deepwater Horizon, Oklahoma City bombing, Boston Marathon bombing, Virginia Tech shooting, Waco, Texas, when they blew it up finally was February or April 19th. Like all of those happened within a couple days of each other. They're always right around April 20th, which was also Hitler's birthday and Queen Elizabeth's birthday too, I believe. I don't know what it is about that date, 420, but you can look it up. Like there's so many of these recent major events that happened on 420. And then you look at 9/11 and then Charlie Kirk is 9/10. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. Magooch, I hope you're doing good. Good to see you. So I don't know if you guys heard, Qatar is getting an Air Force base in Idaho. And I did some specifics on ChatGPT. Well, let's just listen to what Nick Fuentes says real quick.
And our featured story tonight, we're going to be talking all about the brand new Qatari Air Force Base in the United States of America. Okay, so what's up with that? I don't know. Like, maybe the Jews are right on this one. Like, what's going on with that? You see this? So our featured story is that the Trump administration, he's actually completing a previous deal that was started under the Biden administration, but they're going to open up an Air Force facility for the Qatari Air Force in Idaho. And it's not, strictly speaking, going to be a Qatari base. It's our base. It's an existing U.S. base, but it's a Qatari facility that they will own.
Yeah, and so I looked it up too because I wanted to get some facts on it. And It's at the Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho. The U.S. Department of Defense has approved Qatar to build a facility within the existing Mountain Air Force Base. It will station a contingent of F-15 jets and pilots there for training and maintenance to foster interoperability with U.S. forces. The facility is not a standalone foreign base. The base remains under U.S. control with U.S. jurisdiction and security. The construction will be funded by Qatar, and local U.S. contractors will be used. And then why is the U.S. allowing it? The U.S. sees such cooperation as beneficial for training, joint operations, and strengthening alliances. It says the U.S. already hosts foreign training and cooperation arrangements, like Singapore has a training, already trains there. And it says Qatar has limited airspace and terrain variety. So Idaho provides. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't like that. And so then I was like, okay, well Trump is calling Benjamin Netanyahu the greatest man to ever live, and he should get the Nobel Peace Prize. And I was like, well, but doesn't Israel hate Qatar? So I looked up Israel's enemy list. And their enemies are Iran, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt. There are also enemies with Hamas, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, and the Houthi movement in Yemen. So, I thought I asked it about Qatar. Hold on. What is Israel and Qatar's relationship? Are they friends or enemies? The relationship is complicated. Neither full allies nor outright enemies. It's better described as strategic, pragmatic, and sometimes tense. See, I mean, so what? Are they literally just going to build a base so that Israel can blow it up here in the United States and send us into World War III? I mean, like, what are they doing? I don't like it, guys. I don't know. So what else we got here? Stu Peters, he's about as anti-Israel as they get.
How's that ceasefire working out for everybody? How's that going? Are the Christian and Muslim Palestinians in Gaza, are they all safe now? Are they all protected? Because, there's a ceasefire, right? When is the last time that these monsters, that these demonic alien type, mass murdering, psychopath, Talmudic tribe from Satan, when is the last time that they honored a deal that they made? When is the last time you can think of that this regime or that fake country, the nation state of Israel, ever made good on a promise? Kind of like the military-industrial complex, isn't it? Kind of like NATO. I wonder why Vladimir Putin is so agitated. Well, maybe because, just like I told you over 3 years ago, they want regime change there. They want to break up Russia. They want to install central banks. And they want to have Jewish oligarchs ruling over all of these little arbitrary countries that, just like Ukraine and just like Israel, they'll just... How's that ceasefire?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd much rather be friends with Russia than Israel myself. Okay, I never liked Michael Rapport, whatever his name is. He's like one of those wiggers who wants to be black so bad. I think he grew up in a rough black neighborhood in the Bronx or wherever he's from, and he just really thinks that he's black. So he's like the number one wigger, in my opinion. But and he's crying about Candace Owens, and I didn't even listen to what he said. I just bookmarked it because I think he's like the perfect example of the modern day comedian. Like, you know, this hostile takeover, the same people that are putting Israel and Qatar bases and all this shit in the United States, and Zohran Mondani running for the mayor, who that whole agenda are the same people who made it basically illegal to be a funny comedian. And then they put these people in here that are not funny, like Joe Rogan and Michael Rappaport, and the list goes on and on and on. The list goes on and on and on. You know, they're more. They put them there to shift our political and global opinions, our world, and you know, they're influencers. You know, they're not comedians; they're influencers, is what they are. So, and none of them are funny. You know, like I said this yesterday, I can remember things that Sam Kinison said. His skits about like the desert, nothing grows out here. It's sand. Nothing's ever going to grow out here. Pack your bags. We'll go somewhere where the food is. Or Cat Williams, you know, he's not dead. He's going to wake up in a half an hour, hungry enough to eat up everything in your house. You know, weed's not a drug. It's just a plant. It just grows there. Or George Carlin, you know, I mean, those people you can just like quote, you know, verbatim from like 40 years ago. And these new guys that, you know, they just put out a special yesterday, some of these people. And it's absolute garbage. I mean, it's beyond garbage. You know, I haven't watched the comedy special. I think, you know, like I don't remember. I think the last I watched like 30 seconds of the Brendan Schaub Papa Gringo or whatever it was, just because everybody talks such shit about it that I had to check it out for myself, and it didn't disappoint. He's just a fucking moron. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Let's move on. So, did we do the Cooper guy? Anyway, I don't know if you guys remember Sandy Hook. And I always thought that Sandy Hook was bullshit from the very beginning. Nothing ever made sense about Sandy Hook to me. I mean, there's so many things that didn't make sense. You take a 20-year-old kid, Adam Lanza, who goes into a school and shoots up 21, 22, I don't know how many people, but he had 100% kill ratio. He did not wound anybody. He killed everybody that he shot. Is that possible when you shoot that many people? And then, I mean, there was just so many things about that. The one that set me off the most was this motherfucker right here. This is the father of one of the children that was killed the day before. And, you know, when Sandy Hook happened, I had a daughter about the same age as Molly Parker, who was killed, you know, like a kindergarten age, 6-year-old. So it hit home with me when I heard the story. I was like, what the fuck, man? So I paid really, you know, I was like, these school shootings are like, I was, you know, it just traumatized me because my daughter's just starting school, and, you know how you're going to behave as a father when, you know, these type of things happen. Like if that were to happen, you know, like you would just be, you wouldn't even remember the next few days. I think it would just go, and you would go into a personal hell. You know what I mean? Like it's you don't even want to think about that. Yet this guy, Robbie Parker, the father of Molly Parker, he goes on CNN the next day.
So we'll see if Robbie Parker, I assume he's going to come out to the microphones now and make a statement. Looks like the family is there and they're getting ready to come to the microphone. So we'll listen in.
Okay. You see all that smiling?
Getting ready to come to the microphone. So we'll listen in.
Okay.
So my name's Robbie Parker.
And I have very good photographers.
And you know, they purposely have scrubbed this video off the internet. He goes on to say, "Hi, I'm Robbie Parker. You know, my daughter Molly Parker was killed yesterday at the Sandy Hook shooting." And you know, he basically talks about gun violence. But I don't care who you are. If you are a father and you have a 6-year-old, if you've ever had a 6-year-old daughter and she was killed the day before at school.
Robbie Parker, I assume he's going to come out to the microphones now and make a statement. Looks like the family is there and they're getting ready to make.
That's the look of a father that his daughter was killed yesterday, murdered with an AR-15 with all of her classmates. This is his look. And then he gets into character.
To come to the microphone, so we'll listen in.
Still smiling. And then
Okay.
Action. And this caused an uproar, but back then, especially back then, and you remember Alex Jones got sued for $1 billion, literally. They tried to sue him for $1 billion because of Sandy Hook. They ruined him. You know, he was lucky to make a comeback, but they ruined him because of Sandy Hook. And, you know, it was such a big deal that Anderson Cooper went on CNN, you know, a few days later and had to defend Robbie Parker. And he said, you know, everybody deals with grief, you know, differently, and everybody has right to privacy, and how dare we type of thing. Fuck that motherfucker. It's bullshit. He lives in my state now too, Washington State. What do you think really happened? Something to do with gun control? They were all paid crisis act. 100%, Patty. 100%. Now, and if you look now, we'll move on to the next part of this video, and it's Dr. Carver. He was the coroner, like the medical examiner guy. And he's the one in there that came out, and apparently he identified all these people that were shot and killed with a AR-15. Yeah, I don't see one speck of blood on his bleached white jacket. And he also is laughing.
So my name's Robbie Parker.
And I have very good photographers. No, I don't.
How young?
Sorry, I don't.
How young was the youngest victim?
Sorry, I don't.
How young was the
Now, if we would have had Candace Owens back then, she would have blown this fucking thing apart. Okay, but this guy, he, you know, he came and went. He was like they put him in there and then he quit right afterwards because people did try. Alex Jones tried to do a little investigative on him, and that's kind of where things went bad for Alex. But
So my name's Robbie Parker.
And I have very good photographers. No, I don't.
How young?
Sorry, I don't.
Sorry, I don't. I just got done, you know, looking over 20 kindergartners that were, you know, I mean, can you imagine what that scene must have looked like? And then the trauma of the parents, and you're like, sorry, I don't. What? Come on. I mean, we have to be absolutely stupid to believe that shit. I mean, of course he's full of shit. Nobody does that. But everybody there was in on it. You know what I mean? It's like, I think they forget that us normal people are going to see this, that we're just that dumb, you know, but I think that they're waking up now that we ain't this dumb anymore. Like people like me, I'm not smart, but I'll spend fucking the rest of my life fucking talking about this shit if I have to.
How young was the youngest victim? Sorry, I don't. How young was the youngest?
Creepy motherfuckers, man. Well, I think that's all the videos I have for today. I didn't do very many. See, did I do any yesterday? Here is, I think we played this one. Jimmy Kimmel saying that, here, just listen to his own words.
If you felt like your initial comments had been mischaracterized.
I didn't feel like it was. They were. It was intentionally and I think maliciously mischaracterized. Yes.
Yeah.
So he's saying that what he actually said, and everybody heard him say it, it's on tape, was intentionally and maliciously mischaracterized. Unbelievable. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get a move on. It's 8:00 over here on the West Coast. The Mariners won yesterday in 15 innings, which is cool. So I don't know when the next round starts, but I would not be surprised if we don't have a huge something happens in Seattle. I don't want it to happen, but I just feel like the National Guard's coming here. They keep talking about it on the news. Here we had all the local reporters here go to Washington, D.C. and talk to President Trump the other day. They actually got to talk to him. And boy, they told on Seattle big time. And so our local news is pissed off about it. And they keep tweeting about it. So, but I just have a feeling with like now that the Mariners are in the next round of playoffs, there's going to be a lot of people in Seattle and Antifa is going to show up and all hell's going to break loose. So I hope it doesn't, but it definitely could. And the violence here is definitely not stopping. It's more and more violent. They just don't report on it. Shootings every day. Shit, there was a shooting last night. I heard the sirens when I got home. I turned on the police scanner. Somebody shot. Oh, that's what it was. That was that Safeway down the street. The caller was inside the store, said that they were like walking back to their car and that somebody was shooting from the bushes. Well, they didn't see nobody, but when the cops got there, they said they found 9 shell casings by the bush. So, well, yeah. It's insane. Stay safe, guys. Yeah, Patty, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you know, not everything is a conspiracy. Not everything is bullshit, but a lot of it is, unfortunately, especially these days, you know. And it's going to get worse because when we have Zoran Mondami and then, you know, people, he can't even get to his car without people screaming at him, you're an anti-Semite, and denounce Sharia law or whatever and all that. I mean, man, it doesn't get any more hostile than that. Those guys are like they are the terrorists. You know what I mean? Those are the people that are terrorists. So violence is coming to the United States, and it really sucks. We just got to be careful. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care.